Yeah, okay. Okay, members.
Can we all stand?
Day of the teacher, but when we think
I thought of my hearing aid. Are we good?
Sorry.
All right, Mr.
No
Cole.
worries. So, with National School Counselors Week, just an opportunity for us to recognize them. So often we think about, when we talk about certificated staff, we're talking about our teachers, but the vital role that our counselors work to support our students and the teachers, much of it's from behind the scenes. It's a time to appreciate the contributions of the school counselors in supporting their academic, their career, and social emotional development. So it's an honor to be able to bring forward to you a resolution honoring our school counselors.
Okey-doke.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, Superintendent's Advisory Committee, Zoe Rodriguez and Natalie Marin.
Good evening, everyone. We are Zoe Rodriguez and
Natalie Marin.
proud members of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Thank you for the opportunity to share key insights from our January 15, 2025 meeting where we gathered perspectives from students across the district. Our council is dedicated to representing student voices by contributing ideas to district initiatives and identifying ways to enhance our schools. At our recent meeting, several important themes emerged, like our campus growth and safety.
Campus growth and safety. As enrollment increases across many campuses, students highlighted challenges such as overcrowded hallways and limited classroom availability. Brett Jurgensen shared plans funded by Measure A and Measure X, which include significant improvements like constructing new multipurpose rooms, upgrading athletic facilities, and adding state-of-the-art medical and culinary programs. These plans, combined with thoughtful interim solutions such as reorganizing passing periods and repurposing underutilized spaces, were met with great appreciation by students. Students also expressed enthusiasm for expanding career pathways like engineering and medical pathways. Some campuses noted outdated equipment and uniforms and requested investments in resources to ensure equitable access to hands-on learning opportunities and equipment.
Facilities and campus improvements. Students shared concerns about restroom maintenance, including outdated fixtures, cleanliness, and restroom security. Suggestions included updating restroom locks, improving sanitary product machines, and increasing monitoring during peak times to address behaviors like vaping and smoking. It was shared that a pilot program for smoke detectors in restrooms was implemented, but it proved ineffective due to false alarms and delayed responses. We are hopeful future solutions will be effective. Overall, we are grateful for the district's commitment to student voices and for sharing forward-thinking plans that address our school's needs. These discussions allow us to advocate for meaningful changes that enhance learning, safety, and campus culture.
Thank you for your time and dedication to our schools. We look forward to continuing this dialogue and sharing updates at future meetings.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, community comments, Mr. Cole?
If you wish to address the board on any topic, including any item on the agenda, please submit your comments to the board president by completing the request to address board card prior to the meeting and submitting it to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those who desire to speak either during public comment section of the agenda or before the particular agenda item. Each speaker should move quickly to the microphone and announce your name before beginning your presentation. Meetings are taped for later transcription. Each speaker is allocated a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more to 20 minutes, if substantial numbers of people wish to address the board on one topic. Testimony should be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. Board action may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask that such items be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is not protected from damage claims for slander. Public charges or allegations may result in legal action being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions, and it welcomes your participation in the democratic process.
All right. First speaker, Dr. Vanyoki.
Dr. V, good morning. Is this working? I guess so. All right. I'd like to thank the board for approving the event for the students from Lakeview with the teachers of Mrs. Mondragon and Davis, staff Bray and Donovan, as they participated. And participation in theater means, according to the pre-talk, that the audience experiences with the actors at the moment and the moments of the emotion, the situation, the cause and effect, all that happens is experienced simultaneously with the audience. So I want to thank you all for approving for the students to go see the incident, a curious incident of the dog in the nighttime. As a representative of the Lewis Family Playhouse and the city of Rancho Cucamonga, where I volunteer, I was able to witness and see with great joy the students from Lakeview. They were juniors, about 42 of them came in, and the multi-facets going on in a theater. As a theater major, I was highly impressed and was so thrilled that they got to view this opportunity. Not only did they use the surround sound that is able to initiate Air Force jet taking off in the theater, and the multitude of lights and the strobes and the fly gallery, everything that a theater has to offer in this small little tiny space, these students got to see. Many of them, it was their first time in a theater with a professional. I'm sorry, I'm having an incident which occurs when I get nervous. So that's it. I wanted to say thank you, and because I'm shaking so much, this pass for everyone, and that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Vanyoki. Okay, next we have Rachel Wish.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Wish, and for the last 6 years, I've been a teacher at Silverado High School. In the 4 years prior to that, I was at the Victor Elementary School District, and it has been my greatest honor and pleasure to watch these students grow up and see my elementary school babies pass through the halls at Silverado and through my classes. All children in the United States have a right to a public K-12 education under federal law, regardless of their citizenship or residency status. Our school district mission statement is, as the unifying agent of our community, steeped in more than a century of commitment to student achievement, and the Victor Valley Union High School District will provide students a high-quality education in a safe environment. And my question to you is, what does that safe environment look like? Our students and families genuinely want to know and to hear it from the school district. We are ICE Detention Center adjacent. We are 69.5% Hispanic in our demographic. We are immigrants and children of immigrants. Information about student rights is coming out piecemeal without a clear directive. I implore you to draft a public statement to be shared with our students and their families, the community, and all stakeholders to reassure them that the safety and well-being of the students is our priority. We have students who are 14, 15, 16, 17 years old sitting down and having the intense discussion on what to do if their parents don't come home one night. We have students afraid to come to school, and we have students who wanted to speak tonight but were too scared lest their status be identified. Almost all of our school sites have a family engagement center, and all but one of those family engagement liaisons is bilingual, English and Spanish. Knowing the population that we serve, they deserve to know that their students and their parents are going to be safe on our campuses. I have compiled statements for you from 24 school districts that have made statements and posted on their websites and sent parent squares and communicated that students will be safe on their campuses. This includes schools from the High Desert, the Inland Empire, the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, LA Unified, San Diego Unified, San Francisco Unified, various other Southern and Northern California schools, Chicago Public Schools, and suburban Chicago Public Schools, as well as a statement from the California PTA and the California Teachers Association. The only benefit an undocumented person is entitled to in the United States is that K-12 public education. Please don't take that away from them. Be vocal and let them know they will be safe. In closing, I have printed directly from our website the roles of the school board, and I wanted to go over a few powerful statements. First and foremost, school boards look out for students. School boards are accessible to the public, and school boards are the education watchdog for their communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, Shelley Sears.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shelley Sears, also a teacher at Silverado High School. I actually did not have any plans to be here tonight, but I was approached by students really asking for my help. I have students who are too scared to come speak in this public forum, where they're being recorded and perhaps could be targeted. So I don't come here with my own story. I'm going to read the words of my student, and she represents far more students. Good evening, members of the school board, educators, parents, students, and community members. I stand before you tonight not just as a concerned student, but as someone who believes deeply in the promise of education. The promise that every child, no matter their background, their race, their income, or their immigration status, deserves the right to learn, to grow, and to dream. But for far too many students in our district, that promise is being threatened. We are living in a time of uncertainty, a time when immigration policies are shifting, when fear has crept into our communities, and when too many of our students and their families live each day wondering if their lives could change overnight. Imagine, just for a moment, being a child sitting in a classroom, trying to focus on a math lesson, but instead your mind is consumed with fear. Fear that when you go home, your parents might not be there. Fear that everything you know, everything you love, could be taken away in an instant. This is not a hypothetical situation. This is the reality for our students in our very own schools. The truth is, undocumented students and our families are not strangers. We are not outsiders. We are your neighbors, your friends, your classmates. We are the children who have grown up in this country, who have pledged allegiance to the same flag, and who have worked tirelessly to succeed despite unimaginable obstacles. Many of these students have no other home but this one, yet they live with uncertainty of whether they will be allowed to stay. This is why I'm here tonight, to ask the board not to just acknowledge this issue, but to take an act, to take a real, meaningful steps to ensure that our schools remain places of safety, of inclusion, and of unwavering support for every single student who walks through our doors. Here's what we must do. First, we must ensure that our schools remain a safe space, free from fear, free from intimidation. We need to make it clear that our campuses are places of learning, not places of enforcement. No student should have to worry that their school, the very institution that's meant to uplift them, could instead be used as a place where their family members are targeted. Schools should be a place of trust, not fear. Second, we must provide the necessary resources to support undocumented students and their families. Many families are unaware of their rights. Many students do not know where to turn when they need help. We should be connecting them with legal resources, counseling, and mental health services to ensure they are not struggling in silence. If we have the power to ease even a fraction of their burden, then we must act. Third, we must expand access to higher education opportunities for all students, regardless of immigration status. Many undocumented students believe that college is simply not an option for them because they do not qualify for federal aid or because they lack guidance on how to navigate the application process. Our district must commit to ensuring that every student, no matter where they were born, has access to information, scholarships, mentorships needed to pursue their dreams beyond high school. Fourth, we must stand with families of our students. I cannot exceed academically if their home life, or a child cannot succeed academically if their home life is in turmoil. We need to provide resources not only for students, but their parents, helping them with legal aid, connecting them with community services, and ensuring they feel supported rather than isolated in this district. Finally, we must use our collective voice to advocate for policies that protect our students and keep families together. While we may not control federal immigration laws, we do have the power to stand for students in our own community. We can support legislation that provides pathways to citizenship, access to education, and protection from deportation for students who deserve a chance at the future. This is not just about policy. This is about humanity. If we turn away from these students, if we allow fear and bureaucracy to overshadow compassion and justice, then we fail not just them, but ourselves. Our schools are meant to be a place of opportunity. Our schools are meant to be a place where students feel empowered to reach their full potential. But that can't happen if some of them feel unseen, unprotected, and worse, unwelcome. So tonight I ask you, every member of this board, every educator, every community leader, to stand up, to recognize the courage it takes for these students to come to school every day, despite the challenges they face, to recognize sacrifices their parents make to give them a better life, to recognize that their dreams are all just as valid, just as worthy as those as every student in the district. Let us be the kind of district that leads with compassion. Let us be the kind of district that ensures no student is left behind simply because of where they were born. Let the district be the kind that years from now who can look back and say they did the right thing. Because at the end of the day, education is not just about teaching subjects. It's about shaping lives. It's about giving every student a chance to thrive. And it's about standing together as a community to ensure that no student is forced to walk their educational journey alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. All right, Denise Pelkey.
Hello, I'm Denise Pelkey. I'm a teacher in the district. Good evening, members of the board, district administrators. In education, we all know that students cannot learn where they feel unsafe. It is my and your professional duty to make every effort that this hierarchy of need is given. It isn't my or your right to disregard this need based on political belief. Students and families look to us to give a safe environment in which students can learn. It is my hope today that your ethical duty will stand above all else and offer hope and safety. These students already lived through a pandemic where they feared their mere attendance to school could bring about the loss of a loved one. Now they are faced again with this. They need to know that our efforts to be educated will not put them or their loved ones in danger. As an educator, I need you to do so as well, so my students can learn. Make a statement like LA School Police has. Say will not assist in immigration checks. Allow families to not have to feel it is either their child's education or their safety. All of our students deserve the basic right to be educated in a safe environment. Thank you for your time. It is my sincere belief that this district does support student safety and will ensure the safety of all its students.
Thank you, Denise. Selena Freeman.
Good afternoon. Before I begin, I would like to thank you all for being here. I know we're all very busy, and I would like your undivided attention, please. I do see some of you are on your phones, and I understand we are all very busy, but please, as I request in my classroom. Okay. So good afternoon, members of the board. While I am sure that there are many important topics and decisions that you have to make on a day-to-day basis, today's choices need to be made to support your students throughout the district in a way that is very clear and not passive. In light of recent events, many of our students and parents are concerned with how the district will protect them in the near future. You have heard from my fellow colleagues and from our students, but I have a few questions for you. How many of you come from an immigrant family? How many of you know an immigrant? How many of you have set aside your biases and put yourself in the shoes of our students and their parents in light of this? These questions are very important in truly empathizing with our community. As a teacher, we have been trained in empathy and being mindful of our diverse population. But today we are very scared by the lack of unclear and passive response sent out so far around the topic of what to do if we are put in a situation of having to face the government in our schools. How can we, as a district, promote diversity, equity, and safety to all of our students, but then provide a very passive reaction in the face of government authority? How can we teach our students about the wrongdoings of incarceration and forced relocation, but also be subject to possibly have these things happen to our own students and their families? Do not forget that not 3 hours from us away, up on 395, is Manzanar. And the other camps have not been forgotten either. Are we really teaching about injustice, but not trying to stop it? Please take that stand today and let our community know we are here to protect them and support them. We cannot allow our students to live in fear. Thank you.
Thank you, Selena. Okay. Ana Medina.
Good evening. So I'm actually coming here to speak on behalf of the students and one teacher that wasn't able to be here. So this is coming from Ms. Bryant. She's a teacher at Silverado High School. She said, to the esteemed member of the school board and other district officials, I am sure that all of you are aware of the anxiety in the community regarding the possibility of deportation among our undocumented students and their families. Our attendance numbers are falling, and these families are scared. They believe it may not be safe to send their children to school. While our administrators have provided us with instructions on what to do if officials come to call, and VVTA has provided access to cars to distribute to families and students that inform them of their rights, that is not enough. I am joining my voice to students and my fellow colleagues to beg you to reach out to families to reassure them of their safety. Even then, they may not believe it, but if there is anything at all you can do or to communicate with these families that you have not already done, we would all be very grateful. Sincerely, Ms. Bryant. And have a couple of student statements. These are all anonymous because they are afraid to have their name on public record. So this student says, this is student A. It is very important that kids feel safe in school. This country has built itself on the idea that it is free and a safe country. Free for people to come in and get away from the horrors and oppression that they face. Safe to speak freely, worship freely, and be able to feel safe in this country. The government and district should protect these rights. Recently, the government hasn't been upholding their part. Now the district needs to step up. We should make sure our children feel safe to get an education without having to worry about being deported. Teachers everywhere have been taught to give their lives for the kids, but now they are expected to step aside while kids are getting arrested for being alive. No, I don't think so. The district needs to step up and make sure all kids feel safe while at school. Student B says, a student has felt unsafe for many people. School has felt unsafe for many people recently, especially those who are undocumented. There have been reports, not at our school specifically, of ICE being at bus stops or even entering into schools. These unlawful actions could help be prevented in a way that are currently unknown to me. However, we as students and children of family of immigrants, we ask you to help our students and keep them informed on procedures that they could take or things that they could do. As our school board, it is your duty to protect and inform your students to ensure that they're safe. Providing knowledge to your children and people is all we ask for you to do. We hope you continue to provide education and safety regulations to all your students, especially during this dangerous time where our people and the people whose land this actually is are being deported and taken away from the only place that they've ever known. All we ask is you to provide us with information so we're cautious of what's to come. Student C says, as a student in this district, I think it is very important for our schools to remain a safe and welcoming place for everyone, regardless of immigration status. Undocumented students are part of our community. They are our classmates, friends, and future leaders. They deserve to learn and earn an education without fear or discrimination of deportation. I urge you, the people of our district, to uphold policies that protect our undocumented students by ensuring their information stays private and prevent ICE enforcement on school property. Every student, no matter where they come from, should feel safe and valued in their education. I share this fear like many of my fellow peers and classmates and hope that you will help us, the students of your schools, feel protected and safe. Student D says 67%. This statistic alone is a percentage of Hispanic students that attend Silverado High School. However, what's the percentage of students who haven't shown up to school in these past 2 weeks? What's the percentage of students who have had to sit their families down and explain to them what's happening in the world today? It is truly heartbreaking that these students have felt nothing but fear, anger, and betrayal in these past 2 weeks. It is even more heartbreaking to question whether or not our schools are safe. On behalf of the students who cannot speak up, we ask the district if the district can come up with a statement that protects our immigrant families. We ask that they provide resources and reassurance for the families who can no longer feel safe. These families who dreamed of the American dream are now living the nightmare of separation, racial prejudice, and lack of privilege. This is something no family, let alone student, should ever feel. These families need to be educated on their rights, and they need to know that someone out there will stand with them. Student E, as someone who has the privilege of being a citizen of the United States, I see how lucky I am, but I also surround myself with immigrants from people I'm close to, even at school, churches, and stores, etc. Just the thought of never seeing people I know again or people I don't know hurts because everyone has a right to be here, whether they have papers or not. Everyone deserves the same rights. People who do not have papers pay taxes, and not only that, but they are good citizens who do good for the country. Some even contribute even more than the citizens of the United States themselves. Being all human, we deserve the same rights. We have to open our eyes and see that. Student F. I lost track. I'm sorry. I think it's Student F. As a VVUHSD student, I am disappointed in the district for not speaking on the immigration situation. I personally have family that doesn't have papers, and I'm scared that one day I won't see them again. I feel that at the very minimum, they should send out a statement speaking on the situation and how they can help make it a safer place for friends and family. Another student stated, I am a student at VVUHSD, and I do not feel safe at my own school, especially with the district that hasn't even spoken up against the immigration deal that has been going on. As a Mexican who goes to the district, I do not feel safe whatsoever without knowing if we're gonna be okay because they haven't spoke up on it. Another student said, My parents came to the United States to build a better future for me and my siblings. They are incredibly hardworking and have always supported our dreams, but now I live in fear. Fear that one day I'll come home and they won't be there. Without them, life would become unimaginably difficult. School should be a place of safety, not fear. No student should have to sit in class worrying about whether their family will still be there when they get home. Schools must take action to support and protect families facing the threat of deportation. This means providing resources, guidance, and ensuring that school grounds remain a safe space. Another student stated, as a VVUHSD student, I really want to feel safe around my campus, knowing what's going on with ICE, and the district is not letting us know about our safety, and we have to talk about it, like what if they come around campus and it's too late to do something. There's kids that don't have papers, scared to come for this reason. We really want to know if we are safe at school. This is so concerning to us. We want to be alert about the situation here at school also. Parents are also concerned about their safety too. They're scared to even come pick us up because of the situation. We don't want to feel unsafe around campus. Another student stated, as a student from VVUHSD and a daughter of immigrants, these times are really hard and scary, not just for me, but for my parents as well. Knowing that ICE are on the streets, on the freeways, at stores, and at schools, getting innocent humans scares and worries me. The conversations that me and my parents have had in case something does happen are conversations that I never wish to have. Knowing that my parents are scared makes me scared and worried that one day I'll go home and one or both of my parents won't be there to ask or hear about my day. Since my mom told me that ICE is going into schools, I've dreaded coming to school, and I tell my mom, "Ma, no quiero ir a la escuela, tengo miedo." And her saying, "No te preocupes," with her eyes tearing up every morning because of the fear that ICE will be at the school one day. What if ICE does come to the school? Then what? What will the staff do? I really don't feel safe at school anymore, and I know many students will agree when I say that this fear makes our stomach hurt when we are walking into school. Another student stated, as a VVUHSD...
Everybody's got 3 minutes, and you're approaching 12. Yeah, no, but everybody, we're gonna get to everybody for speaking, just each person who comes up has 3 minutes.
I'm gonna yield my time to her.
Is that what you wanna do?
What's that?
They wanna yield their 3 minutes, so they have cards, and they wanna yield them to them.
I don't have a problem with that. We'll just, as long as we stay within the time, and everybody doesn't want to yield, but that's okay. I have no problem going back to that rule. That's what we did. They undid that a few years ago, but I have no problem with it. If somebody's got a lot of information, let it go.
Thank you. As a VVUHSD student, I don't feel safe on our campus, constantly having the fear of ICE coming to my school. I feel our district can keep us more safe and protected so we are more comfortable walking around our own campus and not have to worry all the time. This is my last one. As a student at VVUHSD, I feel that our district isn't doing enough for their students during this time. It is a hard time for students and parents that are illegal immigrants right now, and I feel like our district should be a safe space. Students should feel like they are safe when they walk onto any campus. These students are here to learn and gain knowledge. It is hard to do that when you aren't sure if ICE will come onto a school campus. Our school district should do everything that they can to ensure our students that are safe when they are at school. Our district hasn't said anything about what's going on and if our students are in a safe space with what's going on right now. I hope that our school district can provide a safe space for not only illegal immigrant students, but for every single student. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Jose Velasco.
He yielded.
Yielded his time.
He yielded his time.
Oh, Jose was one of them? I couldn't see him, remember? I'm short. Okay. Oh, I see you, Jose. Okay.
He should still be able to talk.
Okay, thank you for reminding us. Jose Medina.
I also yielded my time.
You did? Okay.
Thank you.
And that information was coming from students, that's why. Okay. Okay, Haley Carrillo, sorry. It looked, that's okay, huh? Okay, so you did too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and is it Sonia?
Yes, that's me. I also yielded my time.
Okay, all right. And Maria Peterson. I haven't seen you for a while.
Hi. I wanted to start out by saying that this is my 30th year with the district, and my husband taught here for 30 years. And he just passed. And many of you just showed up. Families come in all different forms, and my school district family was there for me. And I really appreciate you doing that for me. This afternoon, I received many texts and emails from my students who are my family, who I've been with, many of them for 4 years, and they asked me to show up. So I wanted to show up with a personal story. This is my mother, Elena Soledad Jordan. This is her first communion, and she was born in La Serena, Chile. And mi mamá llegó a los Estados Unidos cuando ella tiene 9 años. And this was tan importante para la familia porque en Chile había una guerra muy peligrosa, una revolución comunista. And so my mother estaba trabajando en los campos, escogiendo fresas y cerezas lado a lado con sus padres y los hermanos. So when my mother was 9 years old, 1 year after she had her first communion in Chile, she and her family were able to come to the United States and work in the fields picking cherries and strawberries. They were able to become citizens. My grandfather, Ismael Jordan, became an elementary school teacher, a public elementary school teacher. My grandmother, my Gigi, George Bell Jordan, also became an elementary school teacher. My mother, Elena, married a man who was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and she became an elementary school teacher, as well as my father. And here I am. It's in the blood. We say in our family, it's la línea de sangre. It's the line of the blood. Ironically, my mother coming here, when she was in Chile, and it's in the National Geographic, it's the second largest ranch, cattle ranch in Chile, her cunita, her grandmother, my great-grandmother, started a school on the ranch for the immigrant children in order to teach them, not knowing that she would lose her own granddaughter to come to a different country and deal with different immigration issues. So just in terms of showing up for my school family, for my students who reach out and who touch my heart and who've helped me during personal issues, cancer, death of father, death of husband, death of tios. I say to you that we are in the busyness of children. Those who are under 18, who are in need of guardianship and protection. Therefore, we are mandated reporters. If a student is being emotionally or sexually or psychologically abused, we are required to report it under all laws ethical and under penalty of fine or community service or even our own job loss. When students are out for days, we are asked to call and do a wellness check. We are required to report it when our own students are being bullied by whomever or whatever entity. We are surveyed constantly about having a safe working environment. We're constantly surveyed about our connections to our students. Are we emotionally attached to them, and are we meeting their needs? And then we are frequently asked, to what degree do our jobs bring us joy? It's all in the relationships. We're not just teachers, every single person in this room to a certain capacity. We're nurses and psychologists and confidants and protectors and coaches and role models and parents. But most of all, when it's time to help, we need to show up for each other. Thank you.
And Maria, you mentioned children. Well, my nephew went to UP, and Eric was one of his teachers, and he was,
Thank you.
I hesitated to tell him, but I had to, and he was crushed. So, anyway. All right, now,
Was that all the comment cards?
pardon me?
That was all the comment cards?
No,
That's all of them, yes.
That's all of them? Oh,
no,
okay.
no, because
Yeah, I
people
just-
gave their time to
Yeah.
the other person.
So I just want to address this. Obviously, this is a really sensitive topic, and I hear you guys all on. Let me take a lot of this into consideration of what this would look like. All of our schools right now have all been instructed that ICE will not come on our campuses. Okay, they're not. Police and law enforcement have no special privileges than anything else. We're a public school. We're a public school system on a private property. Okay, so they have no special privileges to come onto our campuses unless they have a warrant. And so that, the laws have not changed with respect to that. And we will not allow ICE or any law enforcement entity to come onto our campuses, unless they're invited, which the sheriff's department is invited to be a part of our campuses, our SROs, okay, our own police department, but that's it. Nobody else is allowed to come onto our campuses. They don't have any special privileges than any other parent without us either gaining that access, or they have a warrant. Okay, so those rules have not changed. Let me take into consideration some other things. Let us kind of wrestle with those other things, but I want to ensure you, ICE is not allowed to come on our campuses, okay, with us allowing access to them. So all of the schools have been instructed for that. Okay, I know that there's a lot to this, and so let us kind of think about this. I really appreciate everybody's comments today, and Mike, it's real personal to me too. Okay, so we'll continue to wrestle with this a little bit, and really want to thank you guys all. So thank you, and the students who wrote this. Please tell them thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. All right, VVTA report. Oh, Amanda.
Make sure you can see my red, right?
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Cabinet. My name is Amanda Ballard. I am the Victor Valley Teachers Association Treasurer. And as many of you can tell, I'm not Mike, but I'm here. First and foremost, we wanted to reiterate Mr. Coles's appreciation of our counselors. Our counselors do so much for our district. They're a part of our membership with Victor Valley Teachers Association, and we also wanted to thank and recognize them for the hard work that they put in at each of our school sites on a daily basis, taking care of our students, making sure our students are A through G and college and career ready. And we know that their work is tireless and that their efforts are not going unnoticed by us or by the school district. So we really appreciate their recognition this month and this week especially. On that note, we need to take into account the continued pressures on our counseling staff when our district adds CSUSB classes to our site's master schedules in the next year, as that is going to add tremendous amount of work and possible stress to those counseling positions to be able to achieve the goals that our district wants in order for our students to be college and career ready. So just remember that we have human beings that are doing work and their work needs to be recognized at the same extent as all of the teachers who do the same type of work as well. As school sites conduct their business, we need to be mindful of due process and continue to recognize that open and honest communication is a powerful and oftentimes the most productive tool. We are fortunate to have so many sites and so many relationships within our district where we're able to talk to people, and we want to make sure that that is continued going forward. We know that that's very important. As an executive board, we're very interested in learning more about RISE. So we thank you for the invitation and look forward to learning more about what this program is so that our members are super curious about it, and we'd love to have that opportunity to be able to share that with them. And most importantly tonight, I just wanted to give a happy early birthday to Miss Penny Edmiston. Some little birdie told us that tomorrow's the big day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That
birdie is not so little, let me just say that.
Well, he sings like a canary. So we would like to thank everybody for your time, and we really, as VVTA, we really very much appreciate the relationship building and the transparency of the district in these past several years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amanda. CSEA report. Hey.
Good evening, Board. I don't have much to say tonight. I didn't get the birdie, Miss Penny. Happy early birthday, though. The birdie didn't tell me. But happy birthday to you. I don't really have much tonight, but I missed a couple meetings, so I did want to make sure I came and represented. I'm looking forward to a 3-day weekend, and you guys have a good evening.
Okay, 7.1, approval of consent items. Need a motion for 7.2 to 10.2.
So moved. Oh, I'm sorry. Who said it? Did you say it? I withdraw. I'm sorry, Natalie.
Oh,
go
no,
ahead.
you're just too fast. Now, give us the motion.
Second.
Okay, great. Sorry, I was trying to make it as descriptive as possible. Okay, second, discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay. 7.2. Okay. All the eights. Any questions? Okay. 9, consent items. Any questions? Okay. Consent items, superintendent. Any questions?
Do 7.2.
All right.
Did you do 7.2 on the minutes, the previous minutes from January 16th?
Just skipped over that. Oh, I just didn't say it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 7.2, the minutes from January 16th. Did anybody have any questions? Nope. See, I didn't think so, but I shouldn't guess, okay? That's my fault. Okay. Okay, presentation, Ms. Milton from
You
Business
just have to
Services.
vote on the minutes. It's just a vote on the minutes.
So moved. We need to vote on the minutes.
What?
We need to vote on the minutes. Yeah, I made the motion.
Oh.
Ken seconded it.
Okay, okay, the motion, okay.
So moved.
Second, we have a second?
I thought Lindsay did.
Okay, second, all right, discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Okay, usually we don't vote on that one, but that's okay. We shouldn't. All right, Shante, sorry.
Somebody needs to wake up Chris.
A little technical difficulty here.
Just call it intermission.
Okay, good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, audience. I'm Shantae Milton, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, and tonight I'm going to just give you guys an update on the Business Services Division. Next slide, please. So our division is made up of the following areas: facilities, maintenance and operations, fiscal services, nutrition services, risk management, and transportation. Next slide. Our facilities maintenance and operations branch is responsible for all of our capital construction projects, our maintenance, which is both our routine maintenance and emergency maintenance, and also beautification of our campuses and district office. Currently, we are undertaking a couple of big projects, like the modernization of Silverado High School. We've also just recently completed a district-wide HVAC project where we replaced all of the HVAC units over the last couple years. And in the district office complex currently, we are undergoing a reorganization which will include a new boardroom. Will be across in Building 5 in the coming months, but it will also include a new police department as well as new conference and meeting spaces. Recently, Brett Jurgensen put out a request for qualifications for architects. We all know that we just recently received 2 bond measures, and so we are looking for architects who can take on some of those big bond projects, and so we look forward to bringing those to board in the coming months. With regard to maintenance, our maintenance department actually completes about 4,000 work orders on an annual basis, and that's work orders from both sites and departments. Next slide. Our fiscal services department is really everything money. So any money coming in and going out of the district usually has to go through the fiscal services department. So the functions in that department includes auditing, accounting, accounts payable, budgeting, payroll, and purchasing. So the responsibilities of that department is to maintain our general ledger accounts, process all external reports, including our annual financial reports. In the 23-24 year, they processed over 17,000 invoices and reimbursements for vendor payments totaling over $85 million. They maintain a budget, a total revenue budget of over 270 million, and a current expense budget over 296 million. That department pays over 1,600 employees on a monthly basis. That includes our contract employees, hourly employees, and substitute employees. Total expected payroll paid is over $130 million per year. And for our purchasing department, over 3,000 purchase orders were issued last year to vendors. Next slide.
You forgot one thing that they do. They are absolutely particular about tip overages. And I just received another one for 15 cents. So on behalf of myself, it'll have to be put on a payment plan.
Okay. I approve. Nutrition services. So nutrition services is obviously a very important department. To date this year, they've served over 900,000 free meals to our students. For many of our students, these are the only meals that they will get for the entire day. We are excited that on March 19th, they will be hosting a student food tasting. That's when our vendors come in and our students have the opportunity to sample and taste different menu items. And we take their feedback, and with that feedback, we help to prepare our menus for the summer and for next year. We're also excited to announce that Brianna Herdon, who was the lead operator for Silverado High School. She has worked in the district for over 20 years. She will be taking over as our food services supervisor after her approval tonight. Next slide. So our risk management department really is the department that's responsible for everything wellness. So that includes our health and welfare benefits, of which over 2,100 employees and their dependents participate in our health and welfare benefits program. Our annual fair for health and welfare benefits will be on April 30th at Larea Middle School from 3 to 6 p.m. And we also have a robust wellness program. There are over 200 participants in that wellness program, and to date, they've logged over 10 million steps. Additionally, we were able to secure 20% off gym memberships for In Shape Gym, and over this past year, Kaiser Permanente has sponsored 2 clinics for our students and students from the community to get free sports physicals. The department is also responsible for some other things that are not as nice and pleasant, such as our property and liability and our workers' compensation issues. However, despite ongoing lawsuits and the struggles that all districts continue to have, we're really happy to announce that this past fall, we had a major achievement with the lawsuit where they were requesting $40 million, and we were able to come out of it with the JPA only paying $300,000. I personally received a letter from one of the JPA's attorneys really highlighting the contributions of our district risk manager, and I just want to personally thank him tonight for all of his efforts. Next slide. So our transportation department, another student-facing department that is essential, for all of our students. We transport about 60% of our students on a daily basis. So that's about 7,000 students. We have 65 bus routes, of which 40 of them are special education routes. So we are currently working on options. We're exploring to reduce the minimum distance for busing from 3 miles to 1 mile, to accommodate some of the tough environments that our students live in. Additionally, we're preparing for Assembly Bill 579, which is California Zero Emissions Law. That bill essentially is requiring us to go to zero emission school buses by 2035. So we're working with grant programs and working with Southern California Edison to explore how we can get our district to that goal by that deadline. Next slide. So although, there are a lot of good things going on in the division, I do want to mention that we do have a focus on continuous improvement. And so part of that improvement is identifying areas of concern, areas that need additional attention. And so tonight I will just be highlighting the 13 audit findings that were in our 2023-24 audit report. So of those findings, 1 of them was for attendance, 8 were for internal control, 2 for state compliance, 1 for federal compliance, and 1 for school accountability report cards. Although we did have 13 audit findings identified, I'm very happy to report that we did not have major financial penalties that we've seen in the last couple of years. You guys may recall, over the last couple of years, we've paid over $6 million in financial penalties due to findings related to attendance and unduplicated pupil counts. However, we're very happy to report 2 days ago we received a letter from the Department of Education letting us know that our appeal was approved and we will be receiving $5.7 million of those dollars back. With regard to attendance, the finding was that we did not properly account for an approved emergency waiver that we received. Therefore, we used the wrong divisor, essentially shorting ourselves money. So that means that we will be getting an additional $900,000 for the prior year AGA, which is an awesome problem to have. With regard to internal control, there were a variety of issues that resulted in these internal control findings. But some of the major ones that were highlighted were untimely vendor payments, untimely deposits, and untimely bank reconciliations, which resulted in these particular findings. Additionally, there were inconsistent procedures that were found in our ASB programs across the district. So the resolution for this is that primarily under the purview of the Director of Fiscal Services, she's had to put processes in place to review and monitor all accounting functions of the department, making sure that all deadlines and everything is processed on a timely manner and reviewed consistently. Additionally, the director will need to work collaboratively, with other departments such as human resources and risk management to ensure that all processes and procedures are in place and all transactions are processed timely. For state compliance, there were 2 separate findings there. The first one was due to one of our sites. We all have to put forward comprehensive safety plans annually, and they need to be approved by you, the board, by March 1st, which you guys will be approving those tonight for this current year. However, one of the sites tested did not have that plan approved by March 1st, but it was updated and approved after, but that did result in a state compliance finding. The other finding was related to one expenditure that was determined disqualified from the Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant Program. So the resolution for these 2, the first one, the Director of Student Services, she has developed a process and has communicated that process to all sites that includes timelines to ensure that these are reviewed and submitted in a timely manner. Additionally, on January 16th, At the January 16th board meeting, the board approved the purchase of Hour Zero K through 12 school safety software. So this software will help us to ensure accuracy and also ensure the consistency of these plans district-wide. For the Extended Learning Opportunities Grant finding, fiscal services staff has been assigned to review categorical and restricted program spending with the director of LCAP and CNI, at least on a quarterly basis, just to ensure that all expenditures in these programs are appropriate and allowable. This staff has begun to undergo training that's provided by Ide Bailey and will be taking over these tasks very soon. Regarding federal compliance, upon the opening of Larea Middle School, we had some inconsistencies in the reporting of our nutrition services payments. That has since been rectified. However, there were findings in August and September of the year where the auditors could not properly reconcile those payments. As I said, since then, the Director of Nutrition Services has put a process in place to ensure that those entries are reconciled with our point of service system, and we will not see a repeat of that finding. Regarding the school accountability report card, Goodwill High School's SARC reported that restrooms and fountains were in good shape. However, their FIT tool, or the facilities inspection tool, reported that the fountains and restrooms were in fair shape. So therefore, there was an inconsistency between those two reporting systems. A resolution to that is that the director of LCAP and CNI has developed a process in which both of these reporting systems will be reviewed for accuracy before any of this data is submitted. Next slide. So what's going on and what's on deck currently for our division? So health insurance rates are being reviewed, and they will be coming up for renewal very shortly. So risk management is working on that. Once we do have the renewals in, he will convene the Health and Welfare Committee, which is made up of members from across the district. We will go over the rates, and then we will have an idea of what our costs will be in the coming year. Second interim reporting will be done very soon. I will be bringing that report to you guys at the next board meeting. Additionally, we are already working on budget development for 2025 and 26. We are planning major facilities projects for the summer. So the summer is always a great opportunity to plan for projects when students are not on site. There's a range of projects that will be underway, but one example may be major roofing projects at several sites. We're also planning for the use of bond funds. So we're really excited, and we expect the first issuance of bond funds this May, which will be around $60 million. Next board meeting, I will be bringing two resolutions forward. One is a reimbursement resolution to where we can start on some of those projects and reimburse ourselves for bond funds once received. And the second one will be the resolution to create the Citizen Oversight Committee. For transportation, they're already working on routing for the extended school year, and also already looking forward to 25-26 school year. Additionally, in transportation, we are currently recruiting management in that area, but last board meeting, you guys did approve an interim supervisor in that area, and she's doing a very good job keeping us afloat. And for nutrition services, so they are meal planning for the rest of the spring semester, and then we'll shortly begin to meal plan for summer. It's a very busy time, for all of us, but especially, for our division and for fiscal services. We are already closing out one year and looking forward to closing out that year and planning for the next already. Next slide. Well, that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
The Citizens Oversight Committee?
Yes.
Have you had a lot of applications for that yet?
I wouldn't say we had a lot. We have some coming in, and they are under review. But please share. The link is on our website, so please share that information with anyone that may be interested.
When does that close, that process?
Well, we are bringing, it won't close until it's full. We'd like to bring, there's 7 members. There will be 7 members of that committee. We're bringing the resolution for that committee forward on March 6th. We'd like to have names for some of those positions by February 20th, which is our deadline for the publishing of the board agenda. But, excuse me, but it will not close until the committee is complete.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For you, just real quick, I just want to say thank you to the entire business division for the work that you guys do. I mean, so many times, you see it time and time again in different districts, how this division can be such a distraction to the work that we do to teach students. You and your directors and, you know, everybody who works in the business division absolutely do a great job. And because of that, it's not unnoticed. There's no distractions. You know, we're not perfect by any means, but the quality of problems that we have are absolutely at such a high level that it is not impacting the most important work, which is the teaching and learning process. So Shante, thank you. Thank you to you and your entire division. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Action item, human resources. Mike, you're going to speak on these 2 items?
Well, I sent, on the, do we need to move it first before we discuss on them?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was wondering how you want to do
Yeah,
that. Do you want him to talk on both of them before or as they go and when they get into a discussion?
He doesn't need to unless you guys have questions. You can.
So we have to approve.
Okay. Okay, 12.1, certificated personnel report. Got a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay, discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No nays? Okay, motion passed. Classified personnel report.
So moved.
Second, there you go. Okay, discussion?
I don't think she needs personnel. So I think we need someone else to second.
Second.
There you go.
But you would have done it really well, okay?
Everyone was quiet, so I was like, maybe they're ready for Natalie.
Hey, you're doing great, okay? Yeah. Okay, no discussion, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, personnel issues.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Oh, well, actually, no discussion on that. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, discussion items. 14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 14.4. Any questions? Okay. All right, staff reports.
There's no additional report from business.
Well, you did a pretty good one. You did a pretty good one. If there's more, we got, you know.
I'm reported out.
Yeah, that's okay. Ed Services Division.
Nothing here actually either. I just want to wish everyone a happy 3-day weekend. I think we all need it. And again, just so grateful for the team that we work with and kind of echoing some of the things that were said earlier. It's just been a really good year.
That's right. Testing's coming up, so life stops until after testing, right?
Yes.
Sorry, that's a retired teacher bias, okay? Okay, human resources.
I just want to wish our counselors a happy Counselors Appreciation Week, and we had a great week last week with our negotiations with VVTA. We were able to close out the lease article, look forward to bringing a tentative agreement into our next meeting. We have a full agenda plan for tomorrow for CSEA negotiations, and hopefully get some things accomplished tomorrow. Want to wish everyone a restful 3-day weekend, and I'm rooting for a competitive Super Bowl, so everybody has a great weekend, so thank you.
Okay, legislation, any legislation?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of legislation, but.
Well, anything good?
You know what, no. I don't know. You know, we're just waiting to see how things play out. It's like watching a tennis match right now. It's just back and forth on, will we have a Department of Education? Will we not? What will the rules be? What department's going to have it? And I just think for us as a district, and I'm really proud of our district, that we're not reacting to kind of so much stuff out there. Instead, we're just kind of methodically thinking about it, and we have a response, to many of these things. And so it's fast-paced. and we'll see what the next month brings.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, board member comments. All right, Mr. Crosby.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks to all those who, both staff and students, although those who spoke for the students, who spoke up about the concerns of the staff and all about immigration. It's one of those things that I have, as you know, a lot of my family falls under the deportation possibility, and so it's a personal thing with me. But I will say this: most of what I hear is rumors. You know, oh, they're letting ICE on and stuff, and then I say, well, which school? So I want to check it, and then find out, no, they're not being allowed on. I think that we just need to be cautious about that. We don't need to further the kids' anxiety by telling them things that aren't true. And I think that's very, very important. I was just at my grandson's birthday party, and I know that at least we had about 45 people there. At least 15 of them could be deported, and I understand that. But it doesn't help the kids to sit there and start telling them things that aren't true. So I think we just need to be cautious about what we're saying, verify the things that we know and all. And I very much appreciate, Mr. Coles, your reiteration that you don't come on our campuses unless you do so legally, and that means with a warrant. Except for students and parents, of course, we want to, I'm talking about law enforcement and stuff like that. They just can't come on our campus and do those things. And if they do, then we need to be prepared to do something. In the meantime, though, I do think we need to be cautious and not overstimulate youth with false reports and stuff. So that's one thing. I want to remind everybody, and I know the people on the board, we've all taken an oath to uphold the Constitution of both California and the United States of America, and we take that very, very seriously. And I know that we will continue to take that seriously. Maria, she left. She was here just a couple minutes ago. But you know that we love you, and we miss your husband, Eric. My daughter grew up with them, so we'd go over to their house. They'd come over to ours for parties all the time and stuff like that. It's a great loss to our district to lose Eric like that. Heck, he was always in better shape than I was. He's a whole lot younger than I am, so it just reminds everybody, be good. Be grateful for every day of life that you have. Penny, happy birthday. Okay, so we want to wish you the happiest of birthdays and many more.
Thank you.
And Shantae, thank you for a wonderful presentation. That was very informative. And as always, you're on top of things, which we appreciate. And with all the insecurity as what's going to happen in the future financially, I have no doubt that we'll be in good hands. You'll do great with our finances, and you'll be able to keep us where we need to be. So thank you for that. And then finally, Mike, you mentioned the Super Bowl. Just to be upfront, I'm a 49er fan. Okay.
There's a cure for that.
My mother was
3 minutes are up, Jose.
My mother was from Kansas, so every time Kansas beats the 49ers, I have to wear this as part of my penance, I guess. I wear a Kansas City Chiefs sweatshirt. Last couple of years, I've been wearing it a lot, unfortunately. So I will tell you, I'm cheering for Kansas City, although normally I don't do that, but they humiliated my 49ers again, so I'm going to be cheering for them. But anyhow, hope you guys have a great 3-day weekend and everything goes well with you. And again, thanks to everybody for all the services you give this district. I really do. Jose and I have both been in this district for over 40 years, and it is a great district to work in. We have made some great strides thanks to our leadership team and our students and all our staff and everything. So thank you very much.
Okay, Ms. Edmiston.
Well, thank you. I want to commend our teachers for coming up and talking to us. Your passion is so obvious, and I know you would do anything for your students, and we appreciate that. Our students need consistency and to feel safe right now, and I encourage you guys, any of you who want to speak to Mr. Coles, he's made that invitation, and go more in depth with the plan that we have. But please commend the other teachers that came up and spoke. We really appreciate that, and hearing from our students. We want them to be safe. We want that. I'd like to congratulate Jonas for our Community Schools Director. Thank you so much for helping us to develop the network and the liaisons within the community to even help our students further. Thank you. And along that line, another thanks, Ramoni and Mike and Shantae, thank you so much for all the help you've given me with the community schools and to Victor L. We appreciate that. Our deadline is tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. So
That's why we can't talk to you tomorrow then, huh?
you can on Saturday.
Okay.
Or during the Super Bowl.
She's off duty tomorrow.
Business services, this was a wonderful report. Thank you. You guys all work hard. I did want to commend, 3 people came to mind as you came across their division. Deshawn for the wellness program, for putting out incentives to help motivate people to stay on track and keep healthy. And I think Jason is here. He was here, Jason?
Was here.
For serving all of those breakfasts and lunches to our students free of charge, making sure that they are well fed, that they have nutrition, and they're ready to learn. So that's a huge endeavor. He has to fill out the paperwork to get the free meals, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and I appreciate that he takes the time to do that. And then Brett, for all of the facilities that you've done in the last few years, it's amazing. Just in the last 2 years, a new school opened up, moving over here, the HVAC, and millions of other things. So thank you, Brett. I appreciate all that you do. And I want to hope everybody has a wonderful day off on Monday and enjoy the Super Bowl. I don't know which team you might root for. I'm just going to be glad that Friday's over. And I hear, though, that the commercials this year are supposed to be really good at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so I'll be
right.
checking those out.
They always say that.
Well, they've got a new one with Budweiser with the big Clydesdale and the baby horse. So I saw the trailer for that. That looks cute. And, of course, the Puppy Bowl is on at the same time. So thank you all for being here. And, again, teachers, thank you so much for your passion and your willingness to protect our students at all costs. I know that you would. Thank you.
Mr. Hinojos.
Yeah. First I'd like to thank our teachers for being here tonight and speaking on behalf of their students. Being an immigrant myself, back when I was 6 years old, I had that same fear that the students are going through. My mother told me when I came home from grammar school, we lived in Oro Grande. She said, if you come over the tracks and you look down and you see a green station wagon or a green bus, turn around and go back to school. She never told me why. It wasn't until I got my naturalization papers back when I was 29 that I found out I wasn't a citizen. But from then on, I was always afraid of green trucks, green buses. So I understand the fear that the students are going through and the parents. I hope that it gets straightened out. I hope somebody comes to their right mind and realize what they're doing. And I look forward to having Mr. Coles do something with this, and hopefully it'll help make our students and teachers feel safer. So thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate that. Thank everybody else for being here and sticking around till the end. I want to thank Natalie and Zoe. Is it Zoe?
Yes.
Yes, for being reporting on the Student Advisory Committee that they attended last month. It was last month, yeah. I know they do a very good job at that Student Advisory Committee meeting. The students are really into it. They hold Mr. Coles' feet to the fire, and they know about the bonds, and they know how much money is on those bonds. So they're all rooting for their schools to get something done and taken care of. So we're looking forward to that too, to get our schools fixed up and make them so that our students are glad to come to school. I want to thank all of our staff members, our district being named top workplace in the Inland Empire. What an outstanding award from the employees. There were 762 district employees that took the survey. There was 42 businesses that were recognized. Out of those 42 businesses, there was 3 school districts, and we were one of them. So, but you know, and it's gratifying to know that our staff feel that our district is a great place to come to work. But it starts at the top. And I want to thank Carl and our staff, because you make it happen. You know, you can have the best place to work in it, but if your administrators are not good at doing what they should be doing and valuing their employees and respecting them, it's not going to work. You're only as good as your employees. So thank you for what you do. I want to thank Dr. Kelly Williams, our CTE coordinator. She allowed me to shadow her last week. It was very informative and educational for me. I got to learn about all our current CTE programs that are in place, as well as the grant process that takes place to get these programs funded. It's a lot of work that goes into those, and I was amazed at how busy her and her, what is her name? Doggone, I forgot her name, her assistant.
Tamara Aruda.
What is it?
Camera.
Yeah. She's such a sweet young lady, and I admire her for what she accomplished in her short life. But it was really a great day. We also had a chance to go up to Adelanto High School. There was some CTE personnel from Visalia School District, and they were interested in our barbering program. And boy, they got a really good look at a good program. The kids were all busy with the mannequins in their heads, and they were all snipping and cutting hair. They had one live student there, and so I got to watch that. And they wanted me to sit down, but I passed.
They do a good job.
Yeah, they do.
They do a good job.
But I told them.
You get lots of attention.
I told them next time. Yeah, Tamara Aruda, that was her name. Yeah, she's the CT office assistant. And again, thanks to Dr. Williams and for letting me spend the day with them. I want to congratulate again Dr. Purcell and Dr. Jackson and their staff at Adelanto High School. They were being recognized earlier this week by the San Bernardino County School Boards Association and the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools on receiving the CSBA Golden Bell Award for the Heritage Program. Thanks to everyone involved with this great Heritage Program. It's producing very good positive results. I want to congratulate Heather Conkle and her staff at Silverado High School on the unveiling of their book dispensing machine. It's an awesome machine. It looks like a disco ball. When you turn it on, the lights flash, and then you put in your slug, and you pick the book you want. It's really super. And the best thing about that unveiling was the students that were there to see it happen, and hopefully it'll encourage our students to read more. There was one more. Nope. I want to happy birthday, Penny. Many more. I want to thank our counselors for all of the hard work that they do, and wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. Oh, we have one other birthday that's coming up later on in the month. That's Carl. Yeah, happy birthday, Carl. And enjoy it.
Birthday?
Have a great one.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Oh, February? Oh, that's cool.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Larson.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank those that got up and gave voice to the students that are so fearful to come in. I understand they're fearful. I work in education and experience the same thing with students who don't want to go home to an empty house. It's sad to see the division that's occurring, and it's nice to know that our school sites are private property and they don't get to just come on and do it. And I stand with Mr. Crosby on that. If we can communicate that with the teachers, because they won't believe administration, the teachers not that administration's bad, it's just they really trust the teachers, you're their friends. And if they can communicate that ICE can't come on campus, I think that will set aside a lot of fears and a lot of the rumors that are going around that are unfounded. I really appreciate school counselors, and I feel so bad for them. Not only doing, outlining the coursework for students, but dealing with the social and emotional issues. They're hard workers. I appreciate them. They really do bring value to our schools and value to our students. Natalie? It's Natalie, right? I got it right? Okay. I want to thank you for speaking up today. I really enjoy the students' voices from the Superintendent Advisory Committee. You give us a fresh perspective, because if you look up here, we're all old. So we very much appreciate that fresh perspective. Ms. Milton, thank you for the great report. Your team across the board handles a vast amount of very, very difficult challenges. And it's nice to see that it's being handled so competently, and we appreciate that. For me, one of the big things is we had readmissions today, and you have no idea how much I appreciate that. Somebody had to work with those kids to get them back in line so they could get back into regular school. And it's hugely important that we reach out to these kids and get them back where they need to be to get their education. If we don't, where else are they going to go? Well, I can tell you, they go down. So, thank you very much for the legislative update and your point about the constantly changing times. I'm hoping it settles down soon. Penny, happy birthday. Carl, happy birthday. And everybody, why don't you take Monday off?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Okay, and now, Miss Natalie.
I don't know how close to get to this. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
You can move the microphone.
Okay.
If I can hear you, everybody should be able to hear you.
Okay. So with so much going on, before anything, thank you so much again for being so welcoming. I always walking in through those doors, it's always a reassurance, you know. You have so many nerves, what to expect, you know. And just like your love, your support, it overflows, and I really appreciate it. And just with everything going on, I feel like as a student myself, the topic of immigration really hits home, and I really appreciate not only the district but my school. Adelanto High School is just filled with a bunch of staff members, teachers, and students that are like-minded. We all support each other. We as students have been doing so many things to make it known that this is something that we see. Although we're students, this is something that we acknowledge, and I just am so blessed to be part of Victor Valley High School District. This is only my second year, and it's the best decision I've made. I was at Riverside Prep since kindergarten, and I told my mom, there's no way I'm going to say I went to one school my whole life. And so moving to Adelanto High School, it's just so many doors have opened up, and I'm just so honored to be a part of this school district. Dr. Purcell, you can't have a good team without having a good coach. So
There you go.
I appreciate her so much. The words don't even come. There's no words to even explain. And just yesterday we had a LCAP meeting with Miss, please excuse if I butcher her name, Miss Ewert? Ewert. Okay, and she was so open to all of our ideas, and we are so amazed that Adelanto High School has no red on the dashboard. So and so much food was involved in that. So we look forward to that invitation on March 19th for those test tries, and we look forward to just continuing the great work, and thank you so much, and happy birthday, Mrs. Edmiston. And now that we know, happy birthday, Mr. Coles. And yeah, we like you guys all mentioned, we I hope that you all have a restful weekend, and yeah, have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, and last but not least, all right. Okay, first I'd like to say the counselors, it's Counselor Week, and as everybody's kind of, talked about, you can't have a great team without all the key players. You need counselors, teachers, classified, everybody to make the whole thing work right, okay? And I say that from personal experience. My counselor in high school, where all they had to do was be a counselor, got me my first job. And then along with my favorite teacher, he trained me how to do that job, so I didn't screw it up, all right? So it was really great. Those people made a big difference, in my life, and they do a lot of others. Natalie and Zoe, good job reporting the facts. Who knows, you might be on Channel 2 someday talking about things, but if Mr. Coles has probably told you, if they don't know what's wrong or what's not working, there's nothing to fix, okay? So let them know, and don't be shy. If it's nothing, he'll say it's nothing. But he'll be straight with you, okay? So you can trust the guy. And Monday was great to go down to San Bernardino and see one of our programs recognized as being, top-notch and excelling. It was outstanding, and all I have to say is every team needs a good coach, every program needs a good leader, and Ms. Purcell, that's you, okay, all right? And I've known you a long time, back from the counselor days, all righty? All right. And again, Penny, feliz cumpleaños.
Gracias.
All right, okay?
Muchas gracias.
And last but not least, I agree with Mr. Crosby, with all these things, issues going on, correct information is the key. Because every bit of fussing and fighting we see about these things, it's misinformation. Somebody's not told the correct thing, or they're purposely told the wrong thing, and people get scared, and people trust the sources. So, if you don't know the right thing to tell somebody, find it out, or refer them to somebody that can, okay? And thank you, and I'd like to say have a good weekend, and I don't know, that red team, the other team's green though.
Say happy birthday to Carl.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Carl. Well, you're getting older, so you might not want to hear that too much, Okay, next thing. All right, we need to go back into closed session now? No? Oh, Carl.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that's your birthday present. I was gonna
Since you
get you to
say a final word here. I don't really have anything to add. It's when you go last, it's everything said. But again, just so blessed, with respect to the work that's happening and the work that we're dealing with. Obviously, the immigration thing is a pretty complicated issue. We're going to continue to really, like I said, we're going to wrestle with this, but ensure that our schools are not going to allow ICE or any immigration onto our campuses unless they are lawfully obligated to be there, and it's not through an invitation. Okay. And with that, I would just like to wish you a happy birthday, Penny.
And to you.
We have a little something for you, and so it'll be
Where'd you go?
coming here in a quick second here. But,
Heather ran to the store.
Ready? Begin.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
That's pretty.
Happy birthday, dear Penny. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I am going to be 62 tomorrow. So and after 12 or 11:59, then I'll celebrate. When that grant is done. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I thought that said 41.
Well, I'll take that too.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll go back to 41.
I'll vote for that, aye. Okay.
No, I'm proud of 62. I'm happy. Those were 62 good years so far.
Okay. Now, do we need to go back to closed session? No. A motion to adjourn?
So moved. Oh, Natalie, go ahead.
Natalie did it.
You were trying to say it, go ahead.
You're so close. All right, go girl, okay.
Second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
There is.
All right.